Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Kizuna, another one of my favorite animes. Now, this one only had 3 books to it, and it also had a prequel to it. But the one that we're going to be focusing on, this one is the very first one that we're introduced to by the characters. The prequel, I don't know if it ever came out. The prequels I actually found on YouTube. And believe it or not, guys, I actually found these ones on YouTube. And yes, I did the same thing. Even though it has subtitling, I decided to put the names of the characters anyway, just to... so you guys know who's who, because it's a long movie. There are actually 3 parts to this one movie, so I'm going to have to cut some things, but I'm going to show you. Anyway, let's dive right into this. This is a good anime. You know, it's got great graphics, great voice actors. It's set a little dated. You know, it's definitely different. It's got a different art style, but yet again, when you look at these backgrounds, you know, the clouds, the trees, the grass, everything looks really good. And our characters that we're going to be focusing on, they too look very realistic. You know, black hair, black eyes, brown hair, brown eyes. What's interesting about this one is we have our main character. Well, we have 2 main characters, and again, guys, I'm sorry with Japanese. I'm not very good at pronunciating names. But what I can tell you is one is in college, obviously, as you've seen, and the other one works. Now, in this one, it goes from present to past, showing what had happened to our one character. He had gotten hit by a car, which was not by accident. Somebody actually was trying to kill him, but his lover managed to save him by pushing him out of the way. It's still, you know, he still got hurt to where he couldn't walk properly. So, you know, he was very high strung to where, you know, he kind of didn't want to admit to needing help or whatnot. If I can find good enough footage with the prequels when they were much younger, I will put that up as a review. I have read the first and second book to this anime. I have not been able to get the 3rd book. I'm kind of bummed out about that. But I am glad that they made 2 to this. Because when you think of this, this is just like a nice little casual story of 2 people trying to live their lives, and just through things beyond their control, stuff happens. You know, like sexual harassment in the office. Okay, guys, I know we talked about the movie Sexual Harassment, but this is actually legitimate sexual harassment. I think it's Ranmamu, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Sorry, guys, I had a long day at work, so my brain is not working. Ranmamu is the one with the more reddish, brownish hair. His boss, who obviously is old and should know better, starts kind of harassing him in a bit of a way. He tricked him into going to a gay club with him, or a gay bar. It was one of them. And, you know, Ranmamu is the kind where he won't drink alcohol. He doesn't do all that. And he turned his back for one moment just to go wash his hands. And when he came back, he didn't realize, even though he had ordered tea, his boss drugged him. And unfortunately, at that time, he did not have his boyfriend with him at the time. He was home. But somebody who knew Ranmamu and saw what was going on did step in and kicked this man's butt. I mean, he kicked him good. Nobody else was willing to help and step in. And I was like, dude, why would you do that? Why would you just sit by and you see something's happening and you're like, oh, no, I'm not going to interfere with that. But this was one of my other ones that I had seen earlier. As I said, I can't remember the order of which one came first, since I've collected quite a bit. But it is a good film, and, you know, like I've said about, you know, my sexual harassment, level C, it is good. There are good voice actors in this, everyone's voice fits the character that they are. Sometimes you get a voice that doesn't really fit a character. You're like, why is that voice coming from that body? It doesn't make any sense. The body looks too young and that voice is too old. So, and like I said, this does come in Japanese, so I do have the subtitlings, because with this one, I did want to have the subtitlings because it can get a bit complicated. There's drama just back and forth of different things going on. And what I failed to mention is that, I know I'm going way back when I say this, when I was talking about Fake, I forgot to mention that Fake, since it was a soft yaoi, it had the option of coming in both English and Japanese. The majority of other yaois always come in Japanese. They've never have come in English, and I don't really understand that. We get the option in hentai for it to be in English and Japanese, but we don't get that with yaoi. I don't know if that's because there's no voice actors in America that are willing to take on these roles or what, but it would be really nice to hear some of these characters in an English dub voice. It'd be very interesting. But, America's not that open. I think as we go along in the world, we're going to open up, but I'm getting off track here. Sorry. This film, I felt it was very good. It had some realistic situations that anybody could find themselves in and choosing what to do. I mean, obviously, Kizuna definitely has good artwork in it. The glass, when I pick up on little things like glass and other interesting factors of this anime, and I do that with a lot of anime. I pick up different things, and I've seen things that I didn't see before, and I always like to look for that. But this is one I would recommend you guys seeing. It's got a good story. It does have a lot of in-depth to it, especially in the books it did. And is there sex in this? Yes. But it's not really shown. They don't have long sex scenes. And like I've said before, it is about the story. That is what is so intoxicating to me. It's not about what I love about yaoi, it's not only the gay sex. Do I like the gay sex? Absolutely. I think every one of us, especially us fangirls, we like that. But what really gets me turned on is the story. Because the story is going to lead up to whatever's going to happen. And that's also why I liked Fake. Fake had a good story and it had good books to it, but it didn't have a lot of sex in it. It didn't have sex until the last book. So, I would really like, and this is something me and my friends do, as I've said before. Me and my one friend, he never saw any yaoi, and it was funny, and I should have mentioned this at the time, but I didn't. He had not seen any yaoi before, and the first yaoi he wanted to see was my sexual harassment. No, I take that back. The first one he wanted to see was sensitive pornography, and I was a little embarrassed. I was like, are you sure? Do you think you can handle it? It's a bit hardcore. And he's like, yeah, I can handle it. And we watched it, and he said he liked it, so we started making regular movie nights where we watch different animes together, but we haven't been able to do that because he's having some issues. But anyway, let's get back to Kizuna. I'm getting way off track here. Sorry. But this film also has some good fighting sequences in it. It's got, also vehicles, it's just something that I always find interesting when they animate cars or motorcycles or speed bikes. They always do a really good job, and they always pick a good realistic design for it. And they just do such a good job. And yeah, Kizuna unfortunately did only have one movie, and as I said before, it only had one prequel, which whether or not the prequel came out on DVD, I don't know, because I get a lot of my yaoi also from YouTube. So some of this stuff, if you guys look it up, it may or may not exist anymore on YouTube. And if you're desperate to find it on YouTube, more power to you. But if you just want to order it, go on eBay, go on Amazon, or even go to FYE and see if they can look it up. They'll special order it. And I want some of those clothes. I just saw a shirt I want. I don't care if it's pink. I want that shirt. I love that. But they show these characters when they grow up. They showed them at the beginning that when they were younger, their hair was a little more shorter, and one grew out his hair slightly longer. And here's he sleeps with his hair loose, but then when he's out and about, he has it in a ponytail. Shouldn't it be the other way around? I'm sorry. I get when they have a character that wears their hair a certain style all the time. It gets a little grating. But these two are just perfect together. They have perfect chemistry together. You have one that gets horny constantly and just wants to have fun, and the other one's like, nope, I don't want to do it tonight. I don't want to do it. And it's very interesting. It's not like rape. It's just like, it's kind of cutesy wootsy how they do it, But like I did before, I'm gonna try to pick a Pacific scene so you guys can hear their voices. They do have good voices. And just the story in general is good. Kizuna definitely had drama in both the books and the anime, but it can get slow and complicated at times if you're not paying close attention. Honestly, I forget half the time what happens, so I do have to rewatch some of them and be like, oh, okay, now I remember what's going on. And like one of the main characters has a half brother, and you don't know that they're half brothers unless you read the book, and he rides a motorcycle, and the half brother has a crush on his brother's boyfriend, which I find interesting. And it just winds up going from there that in the books, the half-brother wound up living with them, and that was causing problems because the one couldn't get anything from his lover. He was being cock-blocked constantly by his half-brother. So, it's very interesting. There's comedy in here. It's not all serious. There's some funny moments. At least I think they're funny. They may not be taken off as funny, but I think they're funny. But, and like I said, they give the guys nice portions, and, it's just interesting to see how well they can do these animes and not get too out of control. And I've noticed something with this anime that I did not notice before. They have a pretty average bed. I just looked at their bed. Their bed is average. It's not too big like we saw in No Money. We saw how big that bed was. That thing was like huge. That was like a bed on steroids. But I can't really say much more about this anime. It's just really good. And, the story, when you really watch it, because obviously this is a very long movie with 3 parts to it. I can't talk through the entire movie. But if you guys really want to check this out, I would really recommend it. It's got a great story. It can get complicated at times, but it's worth taking a look at. If you just want to start off with yaoi and you're not so sure if you really want to see all this gay stuff, this one's really good to see because it doesn't really get too heavy into it. So it's definitely a good for a starter, and Fake's a good starter too. But anyway, that's all I can say for right now, guys. So this is Jahia Moondragon, and I will see you in the next anime. Bye bye.
ランちゃん、
疲れていると言っただろう。
せめて添い寝でも。
勝手にしろ。
それでは勝手に。
やめろ。
まあ、今日のランちゃん感じやすいで。
しまった。まだ薬が効いているのか。あのな、炎上寺。
なんや、わいは今忙しいんや。
そこは。いや、今日はちょっとまずい。
何がやね
ダメなんだ。
ん。せやから何があかんねん。